Rumors are that allegedly Gizelle is desperately trying to save her spot on Real Housewives of Potomac. What's going on? Well, I have some new information that may answer that question and more right after this. What's up, kinfolk, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a favor and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, do me a favor and get notified so you'll know whenever I upload new videos to the channel. All right, kinfolk, come on into the house. We have a lot to talk about, and it centers around rumors that allegedly Gizelle is desperately trying to save her spot on Real Housewives of Potomac. What's going on? I have some new information that may answer that question and more, and here it goes. Rumors are that Gizelle is desperately trying to save her position at Real Housewives of Potomac. Sources say that Gizelle is scrambling to remain the word on the street, as production slowly but surely pushes the cast to a much younger demographic. Gizelle is all over the place behind the scenes, continued the source. She's using Real Housewives of Atlanta as her guide and knows a big shakeup is coming. Without any major storylines from Gizelle in recent years, she knows that the time is approaching where she's either demoted or let go altogether. She knows if they did it to Vicky, Nene, and Rinna, then they can do it to her as well. Another source said, Gizelle being a one-trick pony is hurting her standing on the show. Coming for other ladies' marriages has severely hurt her favorability numbers with the older demographic of Real Housewives of Potomac fans. They are jumping ship as fast as the younger demographic of fans. So the question is Gizelle's latest stunt helping her? Well, sources behind the scenes say no. This younger boyfriend storyline is as fake as they come. No one, and I absolutely mean no one in front or behind the scenes is buying this new relationship Gizelle is trying to sell. The insider continued, this desperate relationship stunt by Gizelle is hard to watch. It's obvious to viewers that Gizelle has nothing of value to bring to the franchise except disdain for married couples. And now, production is seeing this as well. Production allegedly made Gizelle an unofficial show producer, a role Gizelle absolutely loves but knows is only temporary. Nene was also considered an alleged unofficial show producer, and once they were done using Nene for ratings, they found some way to get rid of her, ended the source. Another industry insider said, Gizelle's position on Real Housewives of Potomac is even worse than Nene's. Nene had a star power and a star-like quality that made her a loved villain. With Gizelle, it's the opposite. She's just a villain that no one seems to like. And with that type of reputation, it's hard for fans to fight for you once you are on the chopping block. All sources agree that Gizelle seems perfectly fine with playing the role of the show villain. But that's not enough. You have to have some enduring qualities. Lisa Rinna is the prime example. Being just a villain is a horrible position to be in, but Gizelle's ego won't allow her to change. So the longer she stays in this position, the longer she will be stuck in this role, and the quicker it would be to get rid of her. Other ladies at Real Housewives of Potomac also see this, and they are starting to slowly ice Gizelle out behind the scenes. Most of this season's drama, surprisingly, doesn't even involve Gizelle. They see the age demographic changing, and the quicker it does, the sooner they can get rid of Gizelle and even Robin, and unfortunately Karen in the process. Well, kinfolk, this is some information that came across my desk today, this week, regarding Gizelle panicking about her position at Real Housewives of Potomac. Something that I found very interesting because Gizelle is somewhat considered a mainstay on the show. But I'm not too surprised about this rumor, and here's why. For the past 3 seasons, fans have just become increasingly tired of Gizelle coming for other people's marriages. It's stale. People are over it, they're tired of it, and it seems like that running narrative is something that Gizelle has unfortunately decided to make her brand. And that's more evident when she made this very vain or very weird accusation that Chris was allegedly cheating on Candiace. Even some of the biggest names in the industry did not buy that rumor. Even some of the biggest publications and blogs didn't buy that rumor. And it seems as if Gizelle is willing to die on this hill of being this show villain that no one seems to like. And with that being said, I do agree with my sources that the longer Gizelle stays in this position of villain and not creating any enduring qualities about herself as the villain, it's going to be so much easier for the network producers and the other ladies to simply get rid of her. Something I don't think Gizelle is going to see coming, simply because, as my sources are saying, her ego is just too big and really blinding her to the fact that she is not a show favorite. Yes, she has a job, and you can argue she does it well, but you do have to upgrade your hardware system every other year. And that's something Gizelle just does not seem as if she's willing to do, or at this point even capable of doing. Now, kinfolk, on the next part of this rumor, I do agree with fans about, and it's this. Gizelle has become too boring and predictable. And that's one thing about reality TV. In order to be a veteran, namestay, reality TV show star, in order for people to see you as like a Nene, or like a Candy, or like a Vicky, or even like a Rena to this extent, and like Kenya, you have to have that unpredictability about yourself. You got to keep people guessing. You got to keep people on their toes. And when people can see you coming from a mile away and they know what you're bringing to them, and especially if they're tired of receiving the same thing from you, when they see you coming, they're going to go in the other direction. And now with such a stacked Real Housewives of Potomac cast, Gizelle just making it just even more easier for the fans to go elsewhere for their entertainment, drama, and villain-like episodes. And it seems as if the producers understand this and see this as well. I really do believe that Gizelle is not going to be the center of a lot of the drama this season. That has been said on a lot of blogs and a lot of comment sections that behind the scenes, Gizelle is just plain too predictable, and production can't work with that. It's almost as if, the coloring book page, the coloring book colors, and the image in which you're going to be coloring. And so there's not that much excitement about turning to a page like that. So when you find yourself turning to pages like that, you tend to skip over them altogether. And that's what I think we're going to start to see production, especially with this editing, do. Skip completely over Gizelle and her antics. Now, kinfolk, the next part of this rumor I definitely do see as being Gizelle's downfall, and it's this. I think Gizelle's ego will ultimately be her biggest downfall, simply because she is so blinded by this alleged role as unofficial producer. And she's gotten in her mind that this is what production wants to see. And she's constantly feeding it to them. And production is probably getting tired of it. But when your head has been boosted up so much about doing this one particular job well, it's kind of hard for you to change it up because your ego won't allow you to admit that you're not doing a good job anymore. And so with that being said, I definitely do think that Gizelle's ego is going to be the reason why she is either demoted or gotten rid of altogether. Real Housewives of Potomac is one of those franchises that producers and a network how they are very experimental with this franchise. I mean, they'll get rid of you, they'll bring someone else in, and not really think that much about it. And one thing I've noticed with Potomac producers and the network, they really don't take a lot of fans' opinions in the way they run that franchise. So if they think it's time for Gizelle to go, they're going to get rid of Gizelle. And if there is even the smallest bit of backlash, they're not going to pay attention to it. They're just going to keep on ticking. And that's why the part of this rumor that I do see as being possible is that Gizelle allegedly sees the writing on the wall. I mean, we've seen it time and time again how producers tend to get rid of the older cast members when they feel like they have served their purpose. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when I was looking over all the content from BravoCon, it really did seem as if the network was gearing towards going to a younger demographic. All the panels were led by the younger cast members. All the clips that they put out, you either saw Teresa, you either saw Kenya. After that was all the OGs and veterans you saw. Everyone else and all the attention primarily went to the younger cast members. So that's one part of the rumor I can see as being true, is that Gizelle does see the writings on the wall. Which brings us to the last part of this rumor that I feel like is the real reason that Gizelle either has to step it up or step aside. And it's this. The age demographic is happening at Real Housewives of Potomac. That was the first thing I noticed when I saw that big cast photo. That, and why in the world do they need 10 cast members to carry a whole franchise? But that's another video for another day. Now, the demographic change is happening at Real Housewives of Potomac. And you know what? I think about time. You know, Gizelle really, in my opinion, has become very sad on this show. And it's sad because she constantly does the same thing. And it's sad seeing her not being able to transform her image and to become much more of a more iconic or household housewife name, like a Nene, like a Teresa, like a Kyle. It just seems as if Gizelle is perfectly fine just fading into oblivion as being a hated villain. You know, being a beloved villain is way more important than being a hated villain. People have to love to hate you. People have to tune in to hate watch. And after a while, we're going to see a lot of people tuning out because they're just tired of Gizelle. And I do think production network understands this, and that's why the cast is so stacked. You keep the cast stacked, and so when you are ready to make that shift to a younger demographic, you already have the ladies there to ease their way into these roles. Now, so with that being said, if you are to believe this rumor that Gizelle is panicking trying to figure out how to save her spot on the show, then one can see why she is allegedly becoming unnerved by this stacked cast and her inability to essentially transcend to being a popular housewife. Something I have to be honest with you about, I don't think she's that keen on being. I really do think that Gizelle sees this as a job and a check. And, you know, ironically, I don't think she's that invested in the show mentally or emotionally. Maybe more mentally, but definitely not invested in this thing emotionally, which also is another big issue for her. But again, folks, I want to know what you guys think. If you are to believe this rumor, right now is alleged information, but if you are to believe that Gizelle is panicking over her spot at Real Housewives of Potomac, do you think she has a good reason to panic? Or do you think Gizelle is just such a big name on the show that the only way she's going to lead the show is on her own accord? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, kinfolk, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys over on the next one. Peace.